amigos, mi amigas.
Today, we'll learn about the grace and beauty of Cavite. But before we start, let's introduce the reporters of today. I'm Rian Carlos Alaysay.
I am Bernadette Purgatorio. I am Alea Duato Sakayan. I am Angel Janine Sande. I am Erlian C. Sabanal.
And we are the 8 reporters for today's discussion. Let's first give the floor to Miss Purgatorio.
First, we have the rise of local identity. The rise of local identity in Cavite is strongly connected to its important role in Philippine history. Cavite became a center of revolutionary activity during the Spanish colonial period, especially during the Philippine Revolution of 1896. Many significant events, such as the Battle of Alapan and the Declaration of the Philippine Independence, was happened in Kawit, Cavite. Because of these historical contributions, the people of Cavite developed a strong sense of pride and identity rooted in bravery, patriotism, and resistance against colonizers. Over time, this shared history shaped how Cavitinos see themselves, not just as residents of a province, but as important roles or as important contributors to the nation's freedom and identity. Cavite became known as the heartland of the Philippine Revolution because many key events of the revolution against Spanish rule took place there. It served as a stronghold of Filipino revolutionaries where battles were fought and important decisions were made. Leaders like Emilio Aguinaldo, who was from Cavite, played a major role in organizing and leading the fight for independence. Because of its central role in the struggle, Cavite earned this title, which reflects its importance in shaping the nation's history and the bravery of the people. Another important moment in Cavite's history was the declaration of the Philippine independence at Aguinaldo Shrine in Kawit on June 12, 1898. This historic event was led by General Emilio Aguinaldo, who was a native of Cavite. It marked the Philippines' freedom from Spanish rule and symbolized the courage and determination of the Filipino people. And because this historic event was happened in Cavite and was led by one of its own, it further strengthened the province's local identity and pride as a key place in the nation's struggle for independence. And now, let's continue with the natural heritage of Cavite. First, we have the Mount Pico de Loro. It is one of the most famous mountains in Cavite is the Mount Pico de Loro. It is popular for hiking and camping because of its scenic trails and breathtaking views. Ilabi na ang sikat nga Parrot's Beak nga porma sa tumoy sa bato. Ug mao ni siya ang view sa Mount Pico de Loro. Next, we have the Balete Falls, usa ka natural nga busay sa Cavite nga gilibutan og daghang kahoy nga naghatag og presko nga malinawon nga kanang lugar para sa mga bisita. The flowing water and the peaceful atmosphere make it an ideal place for swimming, picnics, and relaxing. Because of its beauty and accessibility, Balete Falls has become a popular ecotourism site in the province, attracting both locals and tourists who wants to experience Cavite's natural attractions. And mauna siya ang view sa Balete Falls. And lastly, we have the Kaibiang's Tunnel, one of the well-known attractions of Cavite that famous for its scenic mountain and coastal views. And it is located along the border of Cavite and Batangas, and it offers breathtaking sights that attract tourists, bikers, and photographers. It is also recognized as the longest tunnel in the Philippines, which is 300 meters long. making it an important infrastructure project as well as a popular destination for those who enjoy nature and road trips. And now, I will give you to Miss Erlian.
Thank you, Bernadette, for that clear and insightful explanation. Now, let's move forward to something lively and colorful, the Dance Festival, where culture comes alive through music, movement, and vibrant celebration. So the first festival is the Regatta Festival. The Regatta Festival in Cavite City is a week-long celebration held in the second week of June and ends on June 24, the feast day of Saint John the Baptist. The festival focuses on sprinkling water inspired by the Spanish word regar, which means to sprinkle. This festival highlights both fun and faith, bringing the community together in celebration. The next one is the Wagayway Festival. The Wagayway Festival in Imus, Cavite held every May 28. It celebrates the Battle of Alapan and the first waving of the Philippine flag, symbolizing a victory against the Spanish. During this event, Filipino forces led by Emilio Aguinaldo defeated the Spanish, and the Philippine flag was waved for the first time in victory. Wagaway means to wave, symbolizing freedom and national pride. Today, it is celebrated through street dances, reenactments, and cultural performance, reminding Filipinos of their courage, unity, and fight for independence. So let's now proceed to song and music. The next one is the songs of Cavite City. So the first one is The Caviteño Soy. It is a Spanish-era Chavacano folk song from Cavite City, often described as a fisherman's song from the 70s that embodies the local cultural identity. It is performed to preserve the unique Chabacano language and heritage of Cavite City, commonly by groups like Las Cuerdas Caviteños. It reflects the identity and culture of Caviteños while helping preserve the unique Chavacano language. The song is still performed today by groups like Las Cuerdas Caviteños to keep local traditions, history, and heritage alive. The next song is the Himno ng Cavite, the official provincial hymn of Cavite. The Himno ng Cavite is the official hymn of the province of Cavite. It is a song that expresses love, pride, and honor for the province and its people. Himno ng Cavite is not just a simple song, but a powerful symbol of identity, history, and unity. It reflects the pride of Caviteños, especially because Cavite played a major role in Philippine history. Through this hymn, the people continue to honor their past while strengthening their connection as one community. The last one is the Himno ng Lungsod ng Cavite. The Hymno ng Lungsod ng Cavite is the official hymn of the city of Cavite. It is a patriotic song that expresses the pride, unity, and the love of the people for their city. It's like the local version of a national anthem. It represents the identity, culture, and history of Cavite City, while bringing its people together as one community. It is important because it is sung during ceremonies and events, helping remind especially the youth of their roots and strengthening their sense of belonging and local patriotism.
So thank you so much, Miss Sabanel. And now let's proceed to the next part of this discussion, which is the rituals of Cavite. By the way, Caviteños traditions reflect a mix of indigenous, American, and Spanish influences, so creating distinct practices that have endured over time. So it's very unique jud and interesting ang ilahang rituals here in Cavite since wala ra siya ma-influence sa isa ka tradition but tulo siya ka tradition, which we call that cultural blend. And there are four famous rituals here in Cavite, and these are the Caracol dance, live via crotches, sanghiyang or sayaw sa apoy, and lastly the Mardical dance. So now, let's proceed to the Caracol dance. And Caracol dance is a Spanish-influenced street dance with the patron saint followed by the pluvial procession. So, Canidi and Caracol is a Spanish word which means snail, and it is commonly seen sa Imus Cavite and Kawit Cavite. Then, Caracol dance usually happens during fiesta. So, di ba pag fiesta kay na may procession. So, mahitabo di ani kay during the procession kay naay beat during the procession. So, kani mga Caviteño kay musayo sila sabay sa beat to show their faith sa kana na patron. So, mo na siya ang tawag sa ilang pagsayaw kay Caracol dance na siya. The second ritual in Cavite is the live Via Cruces. So, Via Cruces means way of the cross. So, Spanish influence kaya panday ni siya na ritual. And Via Cruces is a passion play reenacting the stations of the cross. So, kato din ni siya kanina ritual is i-acting sa mga Caviteño ang katong nagdala si Jesus og cross, katong gakuan siya gapasan siya ba, i-act na nila. And the earliest record na kuan ani kay 1974. So, mga local rebod ang mabubuhat ani which is the Caviteños, which ilang attire kay biblical. And it usually happens during kanang Good Friday sa procession. So now, let's move on to the third one, the Sanggihang or the Sayaw sa Apoy. So this one is an indigenous influence. So it is the only surviving pre-colonial ritual, and it is commonly seen in Indang and Alfonso. So this ritual is a fire dance, and it is to honor supreme god, which we call the Bathala. And now, blended with the folk, religion, magic, and Christianity. So, Sanghiyang di ay is derived from the Tagalog word isa and hiyang. So, isa means one, and hiyang means compatible, whole, or unity. The last ritual and ceremonies in Cavite is the Mardicas dance. So this ritual is to honor Santo Niño. So if naatay sinulog dance here in Cebu, naasad sila Mardicas dance sa Cavite. So this ritual usually happens in Ternate, Cavite, and it is combined of procession with a war dance reenactment. So, it is where performers use tabak or the short sword and the balaraw or the winged dagger to show protection of the image. This celebration generally held during the town fiesta and often featured in late December. So that would be all for the ritual and ceremonies of Cavite. And now, let's move on to the next part. The language and poetry, literature, and documents of Cavite. So, I think you're all familiar with that word naman na kanang Chavacano, since nakadungog na sad mo sa song na Porke, katong Porke by the Maldita. So, mao din na siya one of the examples sa Chavacano. And by the way, Chavacano kay dili ra na siya gina speak sa mga Caviteño, but also the people from Zamboanga, or what we call the Zamboangueño. So for those who don't know, Cavite is also known as the historical capital of the Philippines, and it is established on March 10, 1614. So Cavite became the cradle of the Philippine Revolution, which led to the renouncement of Spanish colonial control. And then pagka June 12, 1818, kay na-declare ang atong independence sa Kawit, Cavite. That's why gitawag siya nga historical capital of the Philippines. So now, let's proceed to the poetry and literature of Cavite. And by the way, I will be introducing you the famous Caviteño writers and their literary pieces. First on the list is Mars Ravelo. So Mars Ravelo was born on October 1916 and was died on September 12, 1988. So if you're familiar with the kanang movie ba na siya or kato ganing Darna o Darna, siya may gakuan ga sulat na comics, ba comics man na siya before siya na kanang nahimong napasalida ganin nabot nga siya live action, and he was also the kanang writer of Jezebel, Captain Marvel, and Plastic Man. Then he is from Tanza, Cavite, and also known as the king of the Philippine comics. And these are the list of Mars Ravelo's comic book characters. So next on the list is Alejandro Abadella. So he was from Rosario, Cavite, and was born on March 10, 1906, and was died August 26, 1969. So he is a Filipino poet, essayist, and fiction writer, and also known as the father of modern Philippine poetry. And then he also edited the several section of the Philippine Digest, Philippines American Review, and established Kapisanang Balagtas or the Balagtas organization. And the following is his major works. The next famous writer in Cavite is Efren Abueg. So Efren Abueg was born on March 3, 1937, and he is from Tanza, Cavite. So Efren Abueg is a well-known and recognized Filipino language creative writer, editor, author, novelist, short story writer, essayist, fictionist, professor, textbook writer, and anthologist in the Philippines. So daghan jud kay siya ganang na-contribute sa ato nga sa ato na country as a writer. So also kanang iyang mga works kay ni appear sa magazines such as magazines of Liwayway, Bulaklak, Tagumpay, Mod, and Home Life. And these are the poems that Efren Abueg wrote, and the next slide will be the short story that he also wrote. The third famous writer in Cavite is Rogelio Ordonez. So Rogelio Ordonez was born on September 24, 1940, and was died on May 19, 2016. So Rogelio de ay known as Ka Roger. So he is a multi-awarded Filipino fiction writer, a poet, activist, journalist, and educator. And one of his iconic Tagalog literature anthology is called Mga Agos sa Desierto in the 1960s. And also he was also the contributor to Liwayway magazine, Filipino Free Press, and Asia Philippines Leader, Pilosopong Tasyo, Diario Uno, and Pinoy Weekly. So he is from Imus, Cavite, by the way. But before I end my part, I would like to add this famous writer in Cavite na wala ma-appeal sa kaning PPT na mo. So the next one is kabalo mo ani. So he is Julian Felipe. So Julian Felipe was born on January 28, 1861, and was died on October 2, 1944. He is the composer of the music of the Philippine National Anthem and formerly known as the Marcha Nacional Filipina, or now known as Lupang Hinirang. So, di ba? Kinsa may wa naka-familiar ani nga anthem, di ba? Kita man tanan since mo man ginagamit ato diri sa Pinas. Kani si Julian Felipe is from Cavite City. So, he is a music teacher and a composer. So, that would be all for my part, and I hope na naamoy nakatunan sa akong pang-discuss, and Now I will give the spotlight to the next discussant, which is Mr. Gian Salaysay.
Thank you so much, Miss Sakayan. And now let's proceed to the next topic, which is the local cuisines of Cavite. The first cuisine is bacalao, a fish stew made from salted fish cooked with vegetables, and it came from Spanish influence. So bacalao is a traditional dish made from salted and dried codfish, widely enjoyed in many countries, especially in Philippines and specifically in Cavite. Bacalao refers to the cod that has been preserved through salting and drying. So it is cooked with a few common ingredients. It is the olive oil, salted cod, garlic and onions, tomatoes, and other more spices. And its taste and texture, mainly it tastes like mild or slightly salty and savory. The texture would be firm, flaky, and meaty when cooked. The second staple in Cavite would be pancit pusit. Pancit pusit is a noodles cooked with squid ink, which makes the noodles black and gives them a seafood taste. And pancit pusit is a type of pancit in the Philippines where squid is the main ingredient. Some versions use natural ink and making noodles black and adding a deep and slightly briny taste. The main ingredients of pancit pusit would be, of course, the noodles, which is usually the pancit bihon or canton, and also the squid, which is pusit, and it's also sliced. And sometimes ingredients such as squid ink are optional but traditional in some recipes, and other spices. Their texture and taste profiles would be it would be savory, salty, and a mild of seafood taste that is kind of briny. And the texture would be the soft noodles would be tender and slightly chewy squid. Tamales. Tamales is a rice-based dish wrapped in banana leaves with chicken and peanut inside. So tamales is a traditional dish made from corn dough or masa, but sometimes in the Philippines, rice. It is filled with meat or chicken or sweet ingredients, then wrapped and steamed in leaves. Tamales originated from Mesoamerica and are made by spreading masa on wrapper, adding filling, then folding and steaming until firm. The main ingredients of a tamales, it would be, of course, rice, peanuts, and chicken in Cavite. And also the wrappings would be, of course, banana leaves. And the flavor profiles would be, it kind of, it can be savory or sweet. It depends on the filling. And the texture would be soft, dense, and a bit of moist. Then let's talk about the healing arts. So healing arts were used or depended by people before hospitals were common. So people depended on the healing arts of Cavite, such as albularyo and hilot, during that time. There are two types of healing arts in Cavite, one of which is hilot and albularyo. So hilot is a traditional massage used to treat body pain or sprains. So mura siya hilot in our terms man pod gyapon. So albularyo, let's move on to albularyo. Who are people that can make herbs, rituals, and other than prayers to fend off or tend off a bad energy into the person's body or entire atmosphere. Herbal plants like lagundi would be commonly used for cough, and sambong used for the kidney, as they are often used in the albularyos in Cavite.
Thank you, Teacher Gian. Now, let's proceed to the distinguished personalities of Cavite. First is Emilio Aguinaldo. So, si Emilio Aguinaldo is from Kawit, Cavite. Siya ang nangulo sa fight sa mga Pilipino para sa freedom. Ug siya sad ang first president sa atong country. Siya ang nag-announce nga free na ta from foreign rule. Mauni ang reason nga nun ang Cavite is known as a place where fight for independence started. Next is Julian Felipe. So si Julian Felipe is from Cavite City. He is a great musician and siya ang nag-compose sa atong national anthem. It was first played during the event when our independence was announced. Ang iyang gibuhat became a symbol sa atong love ug respect para sa atong nasod. And lastly, Mars Ravelo. So si Mars Ravelo is from Tanza, Cavite. He is a famous comic book writer and artist. Siya ang nag-create sa well-loved characters nga si Darna and Jezebel, which are still very popular today in movies and TV shows. His works are a big part of Filipino culture and entertainment. Now let's proceed to the local history of Cavite. The name Cavite came from the word kawit meaning hook, kaya ang itsura sa yuta niya is murag kawit. Before the Spanish came, naanay mga tao nga nagpuyo dire and they were already doing business with people from other countries. And when the Spanish arrived, gihimo nila ang Cavite as their main base for ships and they also introduced Christianity, which is still very important to us today. And ang execution sa three priests made Filipinos realize that panahon na para mo fight for their rights and freedom. After the Spanish, ang mga American na sad ang nisunod o colonize sa Philippines. Cavite remained as the important place para sa ilang mga activities sa military. But dako sad ang ilang natabang kay nagpatukod sila og mga schools, roads ug mas nindot nga system sa government o public services. Nya tungod ani, naanam-anam nga nakato ng mga Filipino how to manage and run our own country, which really helped us prepare for our own independence in the future. Lisod kaayo ni nga panahon when the Japanese occupied the Philippines because Cavite suffered a lot of damage and destruction since it was a very important place para sa military. Pero bisan pa sa kalisod, daghan gihapon ang iapil sa mga grupo and they fight to drive the Japanese away. So in the end, help arrived and Cavite was freed again. Pagkahuman sa war, naangko na nato ang atong full independence. Karon, Cavite is one of the most developed provinces sa Philippines. Dako ang iyang contribution sa atong economy through business and farming. Sikat gihapon ni siya tungod sa iyang historical sites ug beautiful places nga daghan ang ganahan mo visit. And that's all for my part, and now I'll hand this over again to Teacher Gian.
Alright, now let's proceed to the physical geography of Cavite. First one is the building heritage of Cavite, one of which is Bonifacio Trial House. It is a historical site where Andres Bonifacio was tried during the Philippine Revolution. It was built around 1819 by Teodorico Reyes and Maragondon, Cavite. The house follows the traditional bahay na bato style using stone, bricks, and wood. It is now a museum called Museo ng Paglilitis ni Andres Bonifacio. And also the museum features life-size dioramas and exhibits about Bonifacio's trial. The key points of this building are originally owned by Roderico Reyes. It is located in Maragondon, Cavite, used as a court martial site where Bonifacio used his brother Procopio were charged with treason. It is now preserved as a museum showcasing dioramas and exhibits about the trial. The building was declared a National Historical Landmark in 1997. The second building heritage of Cavite is Battle of Alapan Monument. The Battle of Alapan Monument took place on May 28, 1898 in Alapan, Imus, Cavite. It was fought between Filipino revolutionaries led by Emilio Aguinaldo and Spanish troops. Filipinos won the battle. It was the first major victory after Aguinaldo returned from exile in Hong Kong. So, the Battle of Alapan is a monument built to commemorate the Battle of Alapan, one of the first major victories of Filipino revolutionaries against Spanish forces during the Revolution. It is located in Imus, Cavite. Honors the victory led by Emilio Aguinaldo and marks the event where Philippine flag was first raised in victory after being brought in Hong Kong. And the third building heritage is the Imus Cathedral. Imus Cathedral is the parish of Imus was founded in 1795 by Spanish missionaries, and the missionaries belonged to the Order of Augustinian Recollects. They built the first church in the area. The church was dedicated to Our Lady of Pilar, a Marian title from Spain. So Imus Cathedral, officially known as the Diocesan Shrine of Our Lady of the Pillar, is a Roman Catholic cathedral that served as a seat for the Diocese of Imus. It is established during the Spanish colonial period in the late 18th century. It became a historical significant during the Spanish Philippine Revolution, as it was near the site of battles between Filipino revolutionaries and Spanish forces. This building serves as the center of Catholic worship and administration in the province. So it is the main church in Cavite, known for its religious importance and its connection to Philippine history.